Alek Manoah makes his third start of the season. Which one shows up? We're going to talk about it. This is Krusty Case from the Gold Boys Network here, coming to you with the slate preview for May 19th. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. We'll hop right into this recap though. 7-6-1 for May 18th. Happy to be back in the green. Had a 3-0 day in Gold Boys if you're in Gold Boys. So nice to get back in the win column here. Looking to keep it rolling. Let's jump into this slate. The first one is the Boston Red Sox taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Nick Pivetta versus Matthew Liberatore. And as we've seen all season, Boston has struggled to hit left-handed pitching. Liberatore was a starter last season. Now he's more of like a long relief type guy. So I'm expecting, a relatively short outing, probably 3-4 innings, before they turn it over to like a bullpen game. Pivetta looked really good in his last start, much better than the first start back from injury. So definitely curious to see how he's going to look here against a Cardinals team that similar boat to Boston, just not really hitting the side of pitching they're going to see right now. So for me in this one, total 8.5. Money line's pretty much even going both ways. I'm going to go with the Cardinals at home. I don't love it. Probably one of my least favorite games on the slate, to be honest with you. But I just think the way that Boston's struggling against lefties, this is a good spot for Liberatore to, get through 3-4 innings with relative ease and then turn it over to the Cardinal bullpen. It's going to be ugly, probably going to be a gross game, likely low scoring in my opinion. So I couldn't talk anybody off the under. But I'm going to roll the Cardinals money line. I think they pick up the win here. I'll be curious to see what both guys' Ks are at, truthfully. If we get a low enough line with Liberatore, I definitely would consider it against this Boston team. Next one is the Chicago White Sox taking on the New York Yankees. This is Chris Flexen versus Carlos Rodon. And obviously, you see the discrepancy here between starting pitchers. And how do you not want to back the Yankees? I get it. This is a minus 300 favorite. And if you know anything about baseball, for whatever reason, minus 300 does not pay. So we're going to go with the White Sox plus 1.5. I don't trust it on the money line as much as I want to sit here and say they're going to win this game. It's just something about these minus 300s, they don't pay. We see it time and time again. I'm sure if somebody actually tracked it and went back and pulled up the stats, they don't pay. So give me the White Sox plus 1.5. I don't love the matchup with Rodon, obviously. Tough spot for them. His Ks are definitely in play, in my opinion. But in terms of a side, White Sox somehow, some way, whether it's a Chris Flexen masterclass or they get a few runs off Rodon, are going to stay in this game. It's just how I see it. Like I said, we saw it with Glasnow the other day against the Reds. Minus 300 fave. Everybody loves them. Why wouldn't you? It's Glasnow versus the Reds. And what does he do? He gives up a leadoff home run. He gives up 4 runs in the game, and they lose the game outright. I think it was 7-0, 7-1. So definitely something that we see far too often in this league. So give me the White Sox plus 1.5. Our next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the Baltimore Orioles. It's George Kirby versus Corbin Burns. Right away, Corbin Burns player performance double. We're going to go with 6 Ks and Baltimore money line. Should be right on even money. It's a great spot for Burns. Great spot for the Orioles, in my opinion. They've been crushing righties as of late. We saw it versus Bryce Miller in the first game. Castillo pitched relatively well in the second game. And Kirby, he's one of those guys who, extremely high zone rate, highest zone rate in all baseball. And against this Baltimore team, I think that's actually just a problem. So I expect them to put, bat on ball, get some runs, probably see some home runs in this one from them. And I think Burns pitches really well. Gets a Seattle team, as we know, striking out a ton. Spot where he can use his cutter and get a lot of weak contact against a pretty aggressive team. Expect Corbin Burns to pitch well here. Expecting to rack up strikeouts, and Baltimore gets a big win. Our next one is the Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. This is Trevor Williams versus Aaron Nola. In their last head-to-head, I believe I tried to take the first 5 under. And it looked good. Oh, no, I took Phillies team total. My apologies. And they could not get anything going against Mackenzie Gore. So in this one, Trevor Williams pitching really well. Obviously, we've all seen it. Nola, surprisingly, pitching pretty well, too. So I'm going to roll with the first 5 under. I think Williams can keep him in check for the first 5, much as he has every other team that he's faced, minus the White Sox, oddly enough. So give me the first 5 under. I like that. I think my favorite look in this one. In terms of Ks, don't love it. I think the Nola pitching outs are definitely in play. 17.5, 18.5. I could see him going 7 innings here with relative ease. So those are probably two best looks in this one. Next one is the Tampa Bay Rays, Toronto Blue Jays. Again, these are two teams I've just struggled to figure out. We did get that over yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Didn't start out like we were going to get it. Super low scoring to start the game, and then the floodgates opened, so it worked out for us. In this one, we get Aaron Savale versus Alek Manoah. Manoah, the first start, got absolutely torched. Second start, went 7 innings, got torched in the end. They just left him out there too long. So I'm a little curious to see how he's going to look here because he gets a Tampa Bay team that obviously there's a ton of familiarity. They've hit relatively well against him, in his time that he's pitched. I believe like 245 batting average. So definitely a decent sample size as well. So enough to make you wonder how he's going to fare here. I do like these at home, definitely a plus for me here. And I don't like Savale at all. So I am going to go with the Blue Jays on the money line. Regardless of if Manoah, is lights out or not, I think that this Toronto team can get to Savale. And Manoah just has to do enough to, hold that lead for us, which I think he can do pretty easily. And once they turn over the bullpen, should be lights out, should get us the win. In terms of Ks, small lean to Savale under. I haven't liked this Toronto team, though. Even though on paper they're super K adverse, you get these guys who have these weird pitch mixes with this changeup, like sinker combo. And some guys have made them look incredibly foolish. So I don't love the under for him. I lean the under, but I probably won't get there just because it's a spot where I could see him easily covering it.
Wait. Before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Next one is the Minnesota Twins taking on the Cleveland Guardians. This is Chris Paddock versus Tanner Bybee. This game basically a pick 'em. You got Cleveland at -120, and that's exactly where I'm going to go. I still don't believe Paddock is good. I don't care what anybody has to say. I don't care what the numbers look like. When you pitch against the White Sox, you're going to look great, and that's fine and dandy, but it's the White Sox. So give me Cleveland here. Obviously terrifying because Minnesota crushing righties, but they have cooled off a bit over the last couple days. So I'm going to trust that, maybe that's a sign of things that are going to happen here for the next week or so with them. And I think Bybee can hold them in check. Obviously, a ton of familiarity here, being in the same division. But I like Bybee's matchup against Minnesota a lot better than Paddock's matchup versus Cleveland. So I will roll with Cleveland on the money line. I don't love Case for either guy, just their spot where it's just not loving either one. I'm all lean to Bybee over and then Paddock under, but again, don't love either one. Next one is the New York Mets taking on the Miami Marlins. This is Sean Manaea versus Sixto Sanchez. If there was ever a game that I could just skip and not talk about, it'd probably be this one. We've all seen Sixto. He's kind of just there because they don't have a choice. Ton of injuries, so they have to have somebody fill the spot. He's just out there to kind of eat innings, give him what he can. Tough spot here with the Mets, obviously. I expect him to get hit up, and as we've done pretty much every time, we take the opposing team's team total. So I am rolling with the Mets team total over against Sixto Sanchez. I think they put up 5 runs, 6 runs, relatively easily. Sixto's got a ton of hard contact, and it's just, a lot of bat on ball. He spends a lot of time, surprisingly enough, in the zone, and he's getting tattooed. So I expect the Mets to put up runs. In terms of the Ks, again, not a spot I love either guy. Sixto, brutal matchup for him, so probably lean to the under. Manaea, no real interest. His command concerns me. And this Miami team's been pretty good overall in terms of strikeouts, below league average. So definitely not a team that I'm targeting for strikeouts anytime soon. Next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Houston Astros. This is Colin Rhea versus Spencer Arguetti. This is an interesting one here. Arguetti, he's looked decent, but he also pitched against Oakland, had a couple softer matchups. So I'm not willing to sit here and say that he's got the stuff to handle a Brewers team. Colin Rhea, obviously a bit of a junk baller. Houston, tough lineup, tough spot for Colin Rhea. So in this one was ones where I like to get in, get out. We did suffer our first Nerfy loss, but we had 2 of them today, so we ended up going 1-on-1 on those. 4-1 on the season in our slate preview Nerfies. We're going to go to one here. We're going to no runs in the first inning of Milwaukee and Houston. Obviously, this is a terrifying idea because you have Jose Altuve leading off for the Astros. But I believe we can get 6 outs here, and I believe this game is 0-0 after 1, simply because these guys have been good early. They've been good, first time through the order. So give me the Nerfie. It might be a little scary, but I think we get it done relatively easy. Next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on Kansas City Royals. This is JP Sears versus Brady Singer. As much as I want to back the Royals once again, because we backed them the first 2 games of this series, I'm not going to do that because I don't like them against lefties nearly as much as I do against righties. So not a spot that I'm going to take them on a side per se. I do like Brady Singer to pitch relatively well here against Oakland. Heavy sinker ball usage. He played pretty well. JP Sears, I think he can pitch pretty well here too. So I'm going to go with the first 5 under. I think we get there relatively easily. Sears, like I said, been pretty good. Probably been, I would say, outside of Blackburn, the most consistent starter for this Oakland team. So I like him to keep these Royals bats in check. Could be a little scary just because, he does have a tendency where if he loses his zone, he can kind of walk guys consecutively. But for the most part, command's been pretty good this season, and I think he pitches well here. Brady Singer, I like him at home a lot more than I do on the road. So I think he pitches well. Oakland really starting to cool off as of late. The bats have come back down to reality. WRC Plus is right around league average now, whereas like a week ago they were the best hitting team in all of baseball, and everybody couldn't believe it. Well, progression has unfortunately hit them, and we're going to take advantage of it here. So give me the first 5 under. I think it's a great look. In terms of K's, small lean to Brady Singer over. A big strikeout guy in my opinion. Definitely needs like the right matchup for it. So there's guys in this Oakland lineup with like Langoliers, Rooker, Blade, guys that definitely can strike out consistently. So if the line's right, like a 4.5, 5.5, I could be in. But again, not a spot that I'm loving for strikeouts today. Our next one is the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Chicago Cubs. This is Mitch Keller versus Jameson Taillon. Mitch Keller has apparently figured it out. I didn't believe it after the complete game, but he came right back out and had another great start against a tough Milwaukee team. Now he gets a tough Cubs team, and I'm going to back him again. I like Pittsburgh here on the money line. They're a small dog on the road. I was a little surprised by that, truthfully, because I don't really like Taillon that much, but I don't know. I guess Mitch Keller hasn't really deserved any line respect up until the last couple starts, so maybe that's why we're not seeing any real line respect here. But I like the Pirates in this one. I don't expect a lot of runs to come off of Taillon, truthfully. I expect this thing to be pretty low scoring to start. But when they turn it over to the Pens, I think that's where Pittsburgh can kind of scrape across a couple runs. I expect Keller to go deep. This Cubs team lately really just struggling, truthfully. If you've been watching them, obviously they face Paul Skeens, so that doesn't help, and Jared Jones, which also doesn't help. But even prior to that, they just haven't looked at, like themselves at the plate. Definitely scuffling. Obviously, they're missing a couple guys right now. Dansby Swanson's not playing, which could be part of it. But I think it's a spot where Keller can continue to pitch well, kind of take advantage of a team that's scuffling at the moment. And I like the Pirates to get this one done. In terms of Ks, small lean to Keller over. Strikeout stuff hasn't been there as much this season, but I also think a lot of it's because he's more of placing an emphasis on quicker at bats and like getting through, not wasting pitches. So if he's not getting a guy, struck out on 3-4 pitches, he tends to kind of just, here's my fastball, try and hit it kind of thing, and usually generates some sort of, contact for a fly ball or a ground ball and moves on to the next batter. So don't love the case for him, just like I said, because he's not really looking to strike guys out like he was in, years past. But for the right line and the right lineup, I would definitely be in.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
The next one is the Eagles taking on the Texas Rangers. This is Jose Soriano versus Michael Lorenzen. This is a series that I think I just keep expecting runs and I keep getting let down. But I'm going to go back to the over. Lorenzen, for me, gives up home runs, gives up hard contact, has a walk problem. Soriano is almost the same thing. He throws extremely hard, and if he can hone in on it, he will have a couple innings where he looks unhittable. But it's always going to come back to the command. It's always going to come back to putting guys on, and that's when he gets into trouble. So we're going to roll with the over one more time, and we're going to hope for some runs. These offenses have disappointed me time and time again, especially Texas. This team, they're just not hitting. So, but like I said, it's a good spot where they're going to get some guys on base. It only takes one swing from any of their big guys in the middle to do some damage. So let's get some runs. Let's see, some fireworks, and yeah. Next one is the Colorado Rockies taking on San Francisco Giants. This is Dakota Hudson versus Jordan Hicks. I'm rolling with the Giants. I don't love Hicks in terms of strikeouts just because he could pitch really well and not get any strikeouts. But I am going to roll with the PPD similar to we did in this last game. So I'm looking at Jordan Hicks, 5+ Ks and a win, 5+ Ks in Giants money line. It's right around even money. I think it's a great look. Plus velo on all of his pitches pretty much. And as we've seen with this Rockies team, they struggle with velo. So it's a good spot for him to get 5 Ks. He should pitch relatively deep into this one, 6 innings. I'm expecting Colorado low pitch per plate appearance. So should see some quick at-bats, high chase rates. So definitely could see some awkward swings. And I think he should mow these guys down here. Our next one is the Cincinnati Reds taking on Los Angeles Dodgers. It's Hunter Green versus Yoshi Yamamoto. I'm going to roll with the first 5 under. It's a terrifying premise because the Dodgers are in it, but Hunter Green has looked really good, and I think that continues. He added a couple pitches in the offseason, kind of really expanded his pitch mix, and it's making him just a better pitcher overall. On top of that, he's kind of backed down the velo a tad just to save some energy, and it's paying off. I mean, he's pitching really well. So I like him here against this Dodgers team, especially because the bottom 4 or 5 in this order, definitely big K targets for him, definitely guys he can take advantage of. So I think this one stays under in the first 5. Yoshi, obviously, been as advertised. I think it's a great spot for his strikeouts against this Reds team. Be extremely curious what that line opens up at, but I'll definitely be involved there. And like I said, Hunter Green, I couldn't talk anybody off of his strikeouts either. There's going to be 4 targets at least in this Dodgers lineup with the way the bottom of the order is constructed, and I think he can get there. So give me the first 5 under, both guys Ks. I think we see a pretty good pitcher's duel here early. Next one is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is Matt Manning versus Jordan Montgomery. Tigers pretty K adverse versus lefties, so Jordan Montgomery under Ks. I think it's a great look in this one. In terms of a side, I'm having a really hard time pushing the button and taking Diamondbacks. It's where I want to go, though. I do like Jordan Montgomery. I like him a lot. Tigers were crushing lefties. They've definitely cooled off as of late. So not a big concern there, but for some reason, I'm just having a hard time with this one. Like I said, it's a small lean, Diamondbacks money line. I'm not loving it, though. This is definitely not a game that I'm going to be playing anything in. It's just the way I'm looking. And like I said, not a button I'm comfortable clicking. Matt Manning, metrics suggest he's not very good, but he's looked serviceable. And this Diamondbacks team against righties just hasn't been great. I think that's why I'm having a hard time with it, because I could see Manning easily giving him 5 innings here, of 1-run ball, and you turn over to Tigers, who have one of the best bullpens in baseball, and Tigers sneak out a win here, So for me, like I said, small lean is Diamondbacks money line, but don't love it, not pushing the button. The last one on the slate is the San Diego Padres taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is the pitching matchup that we were going to see today, but it got rained out. So it is Yu Darvish versus Bryce Elder. And as I spoke about in the last video, I am rolling with the Braves. Darvish has not looked great since coming back from injury. Didn't look great prior to injury. I just don't think the stuff's there, truthfully. It just, you watch him pitch, velo's down a bit. Spin rates on all of his pitches are down as well. So definitely a spot where I think this Braves team just could tee off on him. And Bryce Elder, as I mentioned yesterday, he's one of those guys where all the metrics say that he's terrible. but he continues to prove all those metrics wrong and continues to tell all the people who look at metrics that they don't know anything. So Bryce Elder, I expect him to pitch extremely well against this struggling Padres team. I think it's a good spot for him. Like you said, we've seen the Padres countless times. They got swept by the Rockies. They come in here, they take one from the Braves in the first game, and I think the Braves get one back here before they play a doubleheader on Monday. Also, with the doubleheader being on Monday, I think pitching outs for both guys are definitely in play because you're going to see some longer leashes here, knowing they got to play 2 games the next day. That does conclude our slate, though. If you guys could do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know if you made some money. Let's keep it rolling. As always, you can find all my plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, guys.